So are we ready for fun?
Yeah.
Ready for fun? Oh, okay. All right, all right. Well, I know that it is a school night, and so I chose 3 passages that are each 2 pages each. And I think they each take about 4 to 5 minutes to read. I know that in this day and age how important it is for all of us to have a mental scroll bar. I am sensitive to that. I am that technologically corrupted as opposed to being adept. The first passage is devoted to my grandmother, Maria Bacchanale di Gregorio, and she is the daughter-in-law of Nicola, who died in the train accident, the train altercation. She married Serafino di Gregorio, who was the gentleman who came over in 1906 to look for his father. So Serafino and Maria di Gregorio were my Italian grandparents, and you can fast forward 30 years from the train incident to the early years of the Depression. And this is when they had purchased a home in the town of Mason City, Iowa, and had started to cultivate their garden. One summer morning, during the Great Depression, a hobo appeared on the sidewalk outside the home. He peered over the 4-foot chain-link fence and watched Maria as she worked in the garden. "Good morning, ma'am," he announced himself. Maria looked up from her hoe. She approached the fence and just looked at the man. "Good morning," he repeated. His face was stubbly, his coat was rumpled, his front tooth was missing. "Awful nice garden you've got here, ma'am. I'd be more than happy to help you out around here." "That's okay," said Maria. She unlatched the gate and invited the man in with a nod. "Come." She beckoned him toward the house. When they entered the kitchen, she waved away her kids and pointed the man toward a seat at the table, where he took a seat. "Would you like a cheese sandwich, a ham sandwich, or fried eggs and bacon?" she enticed him. "Eggs and bacon, ma'am." She cracked 4 eggs from the chicken coop and dropped them into a skillet on the stove. She tossed a little water into the skillet and placed a lid over it to allow the eggs to simmer sunny side up. She sliced 4 strips of bacon from a slab that her daughter had brought home from the packing house. Maria drizzled olive oil over the bacon in a hot frying pan on a separate burner. The eggs crackled, the bacon sizzled, the aroma filled the room. "I can do work, ma'am," he offered once again to pay in the only way he could. "That's okay." She slid the eggs and bacon onto a plate and placed it before him. He ate, knowing that each bite was a gift. As he ate, she prepared him 2 ham and cheese sandwiches to go. When he finished his breakfast, she sent him off with the sandwiches and a small bottle of Serafino's homemade wine for lunch. One hobo told another. News spread far, and the farmhouse with the awful nice garden about a mile east of the railroad tracks became a destination on the hobo circuit. One hobo carved an X into an elm tree at the edge of the property so that others could identify it. The men came one at a time. They arrived on a mid-morning schedule, dictated by the daily switching of the train cars on the tracks near the roundhouse. The men were almost always different men. Some of them were fathers, riding the rails from town to town in search of work. During the summers of the mid-1930s, the men appeared at the fence about twice a week. Over the course of a typical summer, about 25 of them came for breakfast and left with lunch. Usually, the men came to the fence when Serafino was at work. "You shouldn't do this," Serafino warned Maria. "You never know when a bad one will come along. He could hurt you and the children." She kept doing it anyway. Serafino kept warning her, but he didn't force her to stop. He couldn't help but imagine his own father in the faces of the hobos who hopped off the rails. And that's from a chapter called One Kind of Depression.